Fucking goose. All right, rock and roll. Good evening. Welcome back to another edition of Beyond the Backstage Pass. I am your host, Vince Edwards. You may know me from Sound Image Productions, and I got a couple closed roadie groups, one called The Backstage Pass, another one called Death by Loadout. Come by, we're having some fun. With me this evening is my dear, good, way long lost brother from another mother. It's the touring badass system engineer, Cal Thomas. How are you, sir?
Great, man. Good to see you, Bubba.
It is really good to have you home. You've been a lot of fun. You've been with us for about the better part of a week or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been a kick in the pants. How was it out there? Did you have some fun?
Oh, it was great. Keep me busy. We did that AHA show up in Oxbow River Stage up in Napa.
No.
And then got a little bit of shop work in, prepping, and then hopped on an Air Supply gig.
Yeah. We
down
thought that was a
south
good
little
fit
bit.
for you. We said Air Supply, Cal Thomas.
Yeah, totally.
It was Trombone Shorty. It was on another site was what was it? Third Eye Blind or Air Supply. And I said, Kyle needs him some Air Supply. And we put you right on top of that one. We knew you'd cover
I'm
that
super
base.
happy you put the 2 and 2 together.
It was
You
a
know?
good ride for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, good band.
It was a lot of fun. Good dudes on the crew.
Cool.
Good time. I want to thank Toby Francis for last week's show. He was out with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. We had a buddy that recently just went and saw his show, Robin Leibich.
Yeah, what do you have to say?
And he said he loved it. It was a great show. So
Yeah, he's
take
never
his
going to
word
let you
for it.
down with the, at front of house. That guy's going to bring the big sound, the big show. It was, it's funny to me that he went back to the doing rock and roll and multi-person acts artist because, in the show he made clear that he was kind of over being the go-to guy for big rock bands because, he liked doing the Ariana Grande and the Katy Perry.
yeah, he said that on the show, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. His point was, there's like one person trying to tell him what his job is opposed to like five.
Yeah.
And so, and he's friggin' Toby Francis, so probably we should be telling him what's up. And it was a treat having him. We love Toby Francis. Continued success. He's one of the best in the game.
Yeah, and I've definitely loved the posts, especially on your sites that you host. Is like all his front of house pictures look fucking awesome.
Dude,
it's like
the guy
one of
has
those
got
unreal setups.
He is the king of his real estate. The way he uses his real estate at front of house. His outboard gear has got to be the coolest setup on the planet. I mean,
Yeah.
he doesn't refrain from if he wants something or needs something. He's got the best plugins in the world, like legitimate, the ones you plug in.
You know who else had a good setup? I was surprised the two of them were out. Who is our guest? Eric
Rogers.
Eric Rogers and Nobby are out doing shows together. I'm just like, holy fuck,
Yeah, that's
man.
gonna be
That would
monster.
be
They're
the
gonna bring it.
coolest shit to see. I'm sure it sounds great.
Yeah, bring it super big.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
I want to thank Kyle Laser, too, for doing our lights. Much appreciated for setting that all up. Alan Pettibone, the guy that usually is out with us, is out with Incubus right now, so we just wanted to thank him.
Yeah, no, that was super cool of him. We got a little bit of a rotating cast when it comes to the lights, and Rob Robertson, who's the Fillmore guy, and the Warfield guy. But this week it was our good friend Kyle Laser. So thank you, Kyle, for helping us out. We're a bunch of audio guys, and we'd be doing this with like candles and flashlights if we.
Yeah, we need a moth to be
yeah,
whole, and we appreciate
put
you.
that stuff on us, and it's good for us.
Also, I got these a little bit ago, but I didn't do an announce. I got my first set of JH ears. I got a set of V16s.
You're hearing through them right now, aren't you?
Oh, they're so nice. I love them. I want to thank Thomas and Chris Lee for setting me up over at JH there.
Yeah, it's a great company.
I also got a new set of earplugs pretty recently. Their set of Orgasm plugs, really nice.
Eargasm.
Eargasm.
Yeah, you said something else.
That's right.
But I think but it's still eargasm. So what do you think when they said they drop down and hold at 25? Is it do what they say?
Yeah, they're pretty nice. I've only used them twice so far, but they seem like they drop everything down relatively the same level at all frequencies, so they sound pretty good.
Yeah, that's a little bit of magic right there.
And also, speaking of different companies throwing them off here, I heard Neutric stop by. I had a little meeting with you and Bernie.
Oh, yeah, the folks from Neutric every so often pass through. You know, we use a lot of their fittings and products, and they're a hell of a good company out of Liechtenstein, as you probably know, one of the smaller little countries in Europe. And they make great things and wonderful people. And they do a little presentation. They got some new stuff in the works, some flashy, blinky stuff. And so we're considering how we can fit it into our mix. And, of course, then they drag you out to lunch and talk to you some more. And so Bernie played the old switcheroo on him, Bernie Broderick of Truth and Audio, and he was selling them too. You know, it was a kind of a, yeah, it was fun. It was interesting. I thought you were going to come along. We dragged Mikey Brown with us as the head of audio.
I know, I got stuck on the phone. I apologize.
No. We felt like we might have left you behind or something, so we're glad it went like that. But yeah, it was a nice visit with the people at Neutric, and we appreciate our continued ongoing B2B, business relationship with them.
You know, it's funny. I have my normal job here that runs along in tandem with all these tech calls. It feels like since COVID started. So there's always somebody on the road that's like calling me asking for some help with something.
That's right. Yeah, no, you could literally sit home and start a service, I would think, particularly in some of the things you're really known for, like Digico and other things, and just answer questions, bail people out, and charge them some kind of, significant fee, and probably, do pretty good for yourself.
Oh, they got Chip and a couple other guys that are really solid over there that do that already. But that's very kind of you.
Yeah, no problem.
And that's about it for this week.
Well, I wanted to point out that today, or in the very most recent history, we recently lost an amazing drummer and a hell of a good guy, Taylor Hawkins, the drummer for the great Foo Fighters, and I had a bunch of friends that in some way are promoters or bring things together, have acts under their management, and so on. And they were asking about how they could contribute to that. And my only response to them with limited access I would have to something like that was that this was a heavily personal issue to Dave Grohl, and that he was, he's known far and wide as a great organizer of things. And so we knew he was going to do something big as a tribute to the great Taylor Hawkins, and that has finally been announced and realized. So there's going to do some shows. He's announcing one on Saturday, September 3rd in London, UK at Wembley, and the list is just too long to go into.
Yeah, dude.
The people that are going to appear.
Everybody's going to be there.
It's sick, and this is exactly the thing why it was. These are from that little gal that he did the drum off with, Natty Bushnell. Yeah, which was all over, millions of people on the internet. Travis Barker and Martin Chambers, just everybody and their mother, from John Paul Jones to Rufus Taylor and Lars Ulrich and, Roger Taylor, the drummer for Queen, which was probably, if you knew Taylor Hawkins, you knew that was his favorite drummer, was Roger Taylor from Queen. And so that would be a brilliant moment. And then that's going to carry on to do an American thing. So that's clearly the European side of the artists and the people that are showing up, and it's about 40 people. And then Tuesday, September 27th in Los Angeles, California, at the Kia Stadium, Kia Forum, will be an American tribute to Taylor Hawkins with Foo Fighters, with everybody from Stuart Copeland to Shakira to John Paul Jones again, and many, many others, Chris Novoselic and Pink, and on and on and on and on and on. So something to look out for. He was an extraordinary gifted person and a sweet, sweet man, and left a huge. The cool thing is, it sucks when our friends die, or these people that do these amazing things. But Taylor Hawkins left a history of music for you. You can go listen to it through many different places. Chevy Metal, you can hear it on Alanis Morissette. You can hear it in 9 or 10 Foo Fighter albums. I mean, the man will be with us forever, and he's one of the best. So we wish that whole venture well, and might find our way down to one of those ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so that's the deal there. Thank you for being here this evening. You guys, thanks for being here this evening. We have got a really interesting show for you. We've reached out to some friends of Kyle's that he's recently been working with. This young man has kind of cut through the business, he's going to be one of the younger guys. I don't know if he'll appreciate me saying that, but he has cut through the system, you know, it takes to get to a place of accomplishment in our business sometimes a couple decades to be kind of taken seriously and given the responsibility to be out front for some of the big rock stars. Tonight's guest got in the live audio game, God, I want to say around 20 years ago, system teching for the likes of Bonnie Raitt and Lady Gaga. These are big shows and amazing artists. He has worked with his way through the ranks and mixing for people as recently as Bush, and he is the go-to guy when it comes to Brian Wilson and the Beach Boys. He is the one and only Clint Boire. Did I get it right, Clint? Clint, help me. Boire. Yeah,
Close. Kyle,
Clint
I think
Boire.
yeah, he tried that one too. Boyer, yeah.
Boire.
Yeah,
Clint
if you want to say it the
Boire.
French way, Boire.
Yeah. We were talking about you, and he's like, yeah, he's a French dude. I know that much. It's not helpful,
not
man.
even French. Yeah. That's not what I said at all.
Yeah, Saskatchewan French. Yeah.
Right. So, and that's where we find you right now with this beautiful backdrop up in Saskatchewan area, Canada, North America.
Yeah.
Oh, you lucky dog. Yeah, that is
northern Saskatchewan. Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
sun's going down. Yeah, it's a nice view for the office today.
Yeah, I know you work hard to deserve those type of things. Hey, we like to ask, typically start this thing out, and then we wander around a little bit more in your history. But, you know, how'd you get your start in the business? What made you go for audio opposed to, say, lighting or, you know, some other discipline in our game? How'd you get in the game?
I've always kind of come from a background of, you know, mechanics, you know, welding and an industry of miners where I come from. And someone had told me that, you know, you have a really great musical ear. You love music. Why don't you get into music? So, you know, one day I quit my job. I was changing oil at an oil change place. Quit my job. Went and found a new job, and it ends up by being a drummer for a local band that's quite popular. And he invited me out to just turn some knobs, just to experiment, you know, not knowing really anything. So getting my hands on a sound console, not really knowing or even should be there, getting a chance to make my mistakes. And I traveled around just Saskatchewan with that guy for about 4.5 years. You know, and then I decided I was going to take my career to the next level and go to recording school in Vancouver. Unfortunately, the school doesn't exist anymore. But found my way to the States, and I came across Lady Gaga's current tour manager, and we got picked up on this really interesting theater play that got canceled pretty much as it started. So he basically grabbed me up, and I started system teching for Bonnie Raitt.
Oh, no
and
great artist.
Yeah, I kind of just moved forward after that. Yeah.
And you just understood that. You know, for me, I just feel the audio. It just makes sense to me. The lighting, again, like I said on the show earlier, you know, we do this with flashlights and candles, you know, to our sensibilities. Was audio something that always touched your heart, and you felt you could you know, contribute?
Yeah,
something to
it was more of a feeling, you know. Yeah, it was more of a feeling, you know, even just starting out with car stereos when you're younger, you know.
Sure.
No lighting involved there, so you just, you know. Who's got the most bass that can rattle their trunk, you know?
Yeah, I was dead in the trunk, man. I didn't, you know. Yeah. I'm with you on the bringing the big low.
Yeah. We didn't have money. We didn't have money for that.
So I got to ask you. I was running through your history, and I noticed that you very recently, you were in Australia with the Great Bush and Gavin Rosendale.
Yeah, that was a very, very last minute tour. They didn't even know if I was going to get my my visas in time. The tour manager for Brian Wilson, Mark St. Louis, he hit me up right at the last moment. We got 2 days rehearsals, which I don't even call them rehearsals. It was basically just getting to know the guys. And during that whole episode, Jay Easley, who was doing front of house and production management, he had a family issue at home and he had to leave. So he basically, here's the carnet, your production manager, here you go.
Wow. Just dumped it
So
right in your lap.
I'm basically by myself at Tom Bradley with about 40 pieces of gear, trying to get it all checked in with customs. And fortunately, they were nice to me, and they didn't take a lot of time, and then I had to transfer it all the way back to Terminal 7 in LA to get on the plane, so it was just all thrown in. But there was a bunch of other technical stuff that happened on the road that I've, honestly, I really hadn't experienced, after the pandemic and all these companies just throwing pieces of gear at everything, trying to do a festival. All the techs were just sleep deprived, getting 20, 40 minutes of sleep each night. Computers breaking down during shows, restarting, power being pulled. It was almost like I needed this just to get my feet back into it again.
Sounds
after
like
such a long
audio.
time of being off.
Yeah, that sounds like
it was
straight up
it
combat
was
audio
definitely
right
yeah. And I was working right next to Tater. You guys all know Tater. So he was doing monitors for STP, and him and I kind of just cheered each other on, working through all the kinks that we had going on. Yeah.
No, Tater's good, man. I think he's, of course, currently with Iron Maiden and Pooch out there doing his thing.
Iron Maiden.
Yeah. That talk about a sweet spot in the monitor world. Yeah. Tater's earned his place.
Those
really
are always the gigs that you want to try and achieve.
No shit. Well, I mean, let's talk about it. I mean, well, first of all, let's go back a little bit. You worked with Bonnie Raitt. That had to be kind of special. I know her crew is that's a pretty legendary bunch of folks. She's really loyal to her crew, so to get in that makes it kind of special.
Yeah, I hold her really high up on a pedestal. She sets the standard for all artists as far as how to take care of their crew, and just treat people. She just treats people every day. She's not any different than you. She still sends me personal long emails on my birthday or at holidays. And, I don't have any other artist that just, takes the time to write someone who hasn't worked with her since 2000. And I guess 12 was my last. That's when we went on the Beach Boys 50th anniversary.
Right. Yeah, no, she's famous in the game for being that way. There's a couple. Zia Whitestead. There's a couple folks that roll like that. Neil Diamond's good for her. They have the Diamond Village, that kind of travels around. Kids have been raised up in it. That's like a whole thing. Everybody's paid through the year. It's it's a way of getting it done. And Bonnie Raitt is a classic, total class act. I had to go back for a minute, just out of you've done a lot of things. You've mixed it up with a lot of folks, and so I pull out little things that are I think interesting. Working Mons with Jeff Beck. I mean, it's Jeff Beck. He's a guitar legend. Was there any special challenges or things that it took to make Jeff Beck's scene happen?
Well, on that one, I was system teching for Sean Hartman, and Greg Best was front of house at that time, and it was mainly just whatever Sean needed. Sean's very detailed in what he does for monitors, and he does a lot of similar things, whether it's for the Offspring or whether it's for Jeff Beck. So I knew working for him on Offspring, I kind of had a feel for what he was like and what he needed. Jeff Beck later on joined Brian Wilson to do a tour. I was unfortunate. I was out with a band called Pepper at the time, and wish I could have been there. That would have been an amazing show. But Jeff Beck he seems like he's just very simple, and he knows what he wants, and he doesn't ask for a lot. He trusts his guys and puts on one hell of a show.
50 years being a legend. I mean, that's a heavy cloak to wear. He's a heavy dude, and but it seems like you've kept. We mentioned Lady Gaga, Bonnie Raitt, Jeff Beck, and Brian Wilson. Brian Wilson, I know Kyle, and you just did some work with him. I know that your history goes back with him, I think, 2008? You came together with the Beach Boys. 2008. Yeah, and you've worked your way through, as far as I can see, literally from kind of coming up through the ranks to being his tour manager, his front of house, and his production manager. That's huge.
Yeah, I always joke. Yeah, I always joke that I was the last guy standing. I basically was the only one there to answer the question.
Yeah.
Brian Wilson has been, it's been my career. Getting to know him and traveling the world a couple times with him, doing serious anniversary shows like Pet Sound's 50th anniversary. That's
that must have been great.
I don't know. Some people don't get that opportunity to do, 3 years of shows. So we would basically, after we did an intermission of one set of hits, and then we go into Pet Sounds and we do start to finish, and we would end with The Train. It was exactly like the album, and you just see people in the audience with just tears in their eyes.
Oh yeah, no.
Just can't believe this is happening.
Yeah,
I can't believe that I'm standing here watching Brian Wilson sing Pet Sounds.
Just to make a little note here in that for the viewing audience, maybe a lot of us know, but Pet Sounds is largely considered in the top 3 best recorded musical achievements in rock and roll history, and I would highly get behind that. If you want the shorthand to this, I'll give you a cheat sheet. Go check out a show called a documentary called The Wrecking Crew, and it will give you the whole template of what Brian Wilson went through with these incredible artists and making this it really just a monument to what you can do with recording and with talent. And with some serious badass musicians, you can make one of the best albums ever made. It's right up there with songs in the Keys of Life, with Stevie Wonder and a few other albums that are just the top of the top. So yeah, to get to work with him and I've got to work with Beach Boys through the years back in the days. They were an act that toured frequently and quite a bit. But it was always racks and stacks, from a distance. It wasn't like hanging out with Mike Love type things. And it's a band that I've always been able to respect from a distance. Yeah. So, it's got to be absolutely exciting. Are there any challenges? Brian Wilson, again, national treasure, an absolute American institution in music. But he's of a man of a certain age now. Is there any added things that are challenges as a production manager and as a front of house? Is there things, the compensations or anything you have to do on the board and the run-ups to these shows to kind of...
Yeah, we we just had a recent situation at Jones Beach where, he doesn't walk so well. He does, but, we try to just make sure he doesn't, slip or hurt himself, because that's basically show over stuff. And if not, tour ending. So we asked for a wheelchair lift. So we would put a wheelchair lift on the stage, because if you've ever been to Jones Beach, there's no way out unless you can walk down 3 flights of stairs and go through the tunnel, and it's all wet, and then you pop out the other side. Right. So we had one in place. We put some pipe and drape up, so when he went down to leave the stage, get on his bus and leave at intermission before Chicago's set, we'd take him down. So we got him in this thing, and all the way down, it gets to the point where this little tiny rock gets jammed into the mechanism, and he's stuck there, and we can't get it down to the fullest point where we can get him off of this.
Oh, man.
And good thing we had pipe and drape up, which as production manager was part of my thing. I'm like, you guys got to put pipe and drape up. Yeah. I don't want an entire audience just watching this man go down a lift. We try to protect him as much as possible.
Absolutely.
And, he's 80 years old. So, there's going to be those moments where you got to stick him in a chair and wheel him out to the bus, because it's just a good distance,
Yes.
After about 10 minutes of trying to get this thing down, I told the guys to go get some crowbars, anything that will just break this thing apart. Guys get screwdrivers, undoing things.
Jaws of life.
It would not go up, down. And we have a stage manager. His name's Billy, and he's a pretty big boy. And he's grabbing it, and I'm like, "Hey, whoa! Don't you tear it down. Let's just see if we could take it apart and maybe get him off this way." He is pure force, and the thing's bending and just moving, and Brian's starting to just kind of lose it. He's
Yeah.
just like, what's going on? What's going on?
Mhm.
We need to get down. We need to get down, you know? And finally we get him out of there, get him out of the crowd. And, you know, nobody else knew any damage was done, but the people around there, they knew something was up. But that's the second time that's happened to Mr. Wilson.
That is so rock and roll. You know, but we had a thing back in the day with BB King, and you know, BB was very similar, had very similar limitations, and he used to blow me away though, man. The second you got him to his chair and handed him Lucille, he would just scream. It would just come to life, and I imagine that's what Brian does when you put a piano in front of him. And
same thing with Brian. He gets behind his piano and he'll just start playing stuff. He's blown me away so many times, just sitting there by himself at the piano, lighting guys, just doing some things on stage, and he just pulls something out that you're like, that was, and I'm only one here watching him do this. This is absolutely amazing. I can't believe I'm like the fly on the wall right now.
Yeah, now you're living. It's we're lucky enough to do some of the last work with Mr. Bennett, with Tony Bennett, and this is come on. I mean, we're so lucky. We get to be in these weird positions to see certain things. Yeah. There are people in certain parts of their careers now where you may be experiencing maybe their last thing or something in that area of that. Yeah. And it's very, very special, you know, and I count myself lucky, and I know you do with it, you know. Yeah. And it sounds like he's in good hands. Do you have any preference to I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but as it relates to being, say, a production manager versus being a front of house guy, if you could choose and you just could only choose one, what would be your preference?
Front of house.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, that's right. I understood.
Just so I could see Kyle smoke more cigarettes.
He's a nervous smoker, man. Me too, though. You know, he's around a bunch of guys,
one after the other.
Yeah, well, you know, I think it focuses him in though. Like, sure, it's like when a show's going or when he's.
I do, dude. I Gary Laser eyes that shit.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a weird thing. I know you've done Mons in the past too. Do you prefer front of house over Mons?
Yeah.
That's
just graduated just because you know, I think doing front of house and having an awesome system tech like Kyle to basically take care of stuff for me on that end of it. Yeah. And to be able to deal with all the backstage stuff. I just don't personally feel that a monitor position allows you the time to take care of a lot of those production details, because I'm always tuning ears and, you know, just always tweaking with something, just making sure your mixes are always good, you know. I just feel like there's just a lot more to handle, you know.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. I've often said, it's anybody that's watched the show will know they're two different jobs, two different types of people. They're very, very different. And you couldn't be more right. This kid is many times we mess with each other. For a system guy, he really brings it. Yeah, he's a very sharp kid. So I'm glad to hear you guys had a good interaction together.
Well, there was times where, you know, he was basically co-pilot. You know, he was running my waves, and we were in complete sunshine where we could not see anything. So we're building these basically campgrounds at front of house to try and block out the sun. We have air conditioners blowing in there. It was pretty crazy.
There may have been an AC post on your that you posted. It might have came out of my phone. I don't know.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that was you. Was that the SD?
Yeah,
you guys are chilling that SD down. We all know that they got the screens that are real hard.
SD10 AC, I think.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I saw, I put that with somebody else's.
Absolutely.
I'll show you one. That Pooch was showing us.
It was like 115 degrees.
You know, but
I don't even care about the condensation. Fucking set the thing up. We'll go.
I saw yours, right? And then a day or so later, I see Pooch puts up a thing, and of course, it's Pooch's version, though. Yeah. And it totally immediately reminded me of yours, so I put up yours. But Pooch's was, you know, tubes coming off and going in, and there was no boxes. It was Iron Maiden level, you know. It was that kind of a thing.
Or more of a Dasani bottle kind of box.
It was Fuji.
Fuji, that's it. All right.
Or Fiji water box.
Fiji.
Yeah, Fiji is the same. So the The producer loved that one. He just broke up one over that one. I've noticed you've done a batch of TV gigs, some PBS Live, School of Rock, Grammy nominations. What do you got? What's your feeling for doing broadcast work? I know it's a very different animal. How did you take to it?
I loved it. It was just another challenge. You just get into a different frame of mind. You're in a different listening environment. School of Rock was a little bit more. That was more of a live show than a broadcast, as far as one of the ones to go down as history. All the people that do those, from Alice Cooper, Dee Snider to
Kiss,
Rob Zombie,
Vince Neil.
It was 30 minutes with Kiss after, and that was basically, it was a dream come true as a young Kiss fan.
Were you in the Army, Kiss Army?
I was not in the Army, no.
Oh man,
I didn't have any Kiss Army stuff. No.
Well, I still get it. There's something about Kiss that is almost like going, doing, Red Rocks or something. They're just a bucket list band. They're Kiss. Yeah. So I fully get it, man. You got to mix Kiss for 30 minutes. That's definitely one of those check off your list things.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no makeup, nothing. It was just straightforward, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
I got to ask you about, you mentioned before Pepper, and I didn't have time to check into it. No excuses. I wanted to know more about him. I noticed you tour managed, you production managed, and you were front of house for him for a couple of years. Can you tell us about Pepper? Like, help fill me in just out of curiosity. Who is Pepper? What do they do? What's their vibe?
They're a three-piece, I guess, ska, rock, punk. They kind of have a lot of different flavors in their music. They're from Hawaii.
Oh, so that sounds right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, they're the other band. I'd probably put them up there right under Bonnie Raitt as far as people, you want to have on your team, as far as artists taking care of you, just, loving you, and just having conversations with you as far as, you're a real person, and always taking you out for dinner, man. It's hard to keep up with those guys. They're skinny, ripped, and just go out, eat a lot of food, and know how to have the best time.
That sounds like a lot of fun. It's trying to keep up with the younger kids. They got a whole metabolism thing on us. You're going to lose.
Yeah. It's starting. Yeah.
Careful with that.
I met those guys. I met those guys while I was doing monitors for the Offspring. I was covering Sean Hartman on that gig, and they were opening for us, and then 311 headlined. And they always were the ones in the parking lot having the tent party and having all the people hang out. This is awesome. I love you guys. This is so much fun, And that's how it is almost every tour. And it's like, they always joke, it's like going back to summer camp is what tour is like with them,
Yeah, no, it sounds like kind of a dream job. How was your interaction with the Offspring?
That was, I did some monitor teching with them to start out. I think that was around 2009. And basically, Sean was going out to do Jeff Beck, and Offspring was going out, and he said, "Hey, man, do you want to cover for me?" I said, "Sure."
Very cool.
It was on a Midas, and he sent me all the pictures, of all his settings, and I'm sitting there dialing it all up.
The old way.
Old school.
Yeah, that's super old school. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Pre-stick. Right on.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned that, we've
exactly.
With Mr. Wilson in particular, they toured around the planet quite a few times. Again, he does go far and wide, doesn't he? And that you spend time eating with Pepper. What do you do? What do you like to do with your free time when you're out touring? I know people, go gambling, go sightseeing, go find the best foods. What's your thing?
Yeah. Living in Vegas right now, you don't go out anywhere. It's just too hot to do anything.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Free time. I love cars, racing.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
That's something I try to get into. I know Kyle and I think he only did 2. I did 3 on this tour. I went to 3 museums. One was the NASCAR museum. One was the Indianapolis Speedway, and one was the Ford Museum
Oh, that
in
one's
Dearborn.
sick.
So
That Ford one is crazy.
it was one of the most
That one is
amazing
so
museums
insane,
I've ever
dude.
been to.
And it's not just Fords.
Yeah.
It's like crazy shit. Like that place is crazy, dude. Like you wouldn't believe it.
Airplanes,
Airplanes,
farm equipment,
yep,
doll houses,
the whole history of
everything.
Americana, like from the mechanized future forward.
I just love that we got to go to the Brickyard in Indy.
Yeah, no, that's a iconic place. I mean,
While
truly.
Enzo Ferraris are ripping around the track, we're just sitting at the winner's circle, just like watching this whole. It was crazy.
You should have been drinking milk.
Yeah,
Kicking it in
seriously.
the winner's circle. Is that that's the milk one? Isn't that the milk one?
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yep.
Yeah.
It was
no,
raw.
that
What
place
did
is-
we learn?
You get to pick your type of milk if you win.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
What was the weird
that'd be
one?
chocolate.
Like, fuck, it'll come to me.
Anyway,
It was like almond milk or something like that.
Yeah, it was something weird.
I don't know. They might drum me out of town on that. I have a feeling they have some loyalty to cow milk there, but I don't know. It could be all wrong. But that is, no, that's a great way to spend time. I absolutely personally love museums. You found your niche for it. Bernie would love this guy. Bernie, one of our dear friends is total gearhead. He got gasoline in his veins, and yeah, I totally get it. But that Ford place, man, I couldn't say this enough. I cannot recommend this to people enough. This is the psychoest, craziest, most unexpected museum. You go in there thinking Ford, and it's just so much more than that. Clint will tell you, it's an extraordinary.
You're gonna
multi-floors.
You need 3 days to go through it.
Yeah. It's the Ford did well for himself, and apparently he liked collecting a shit ton of stuff. Steam engines, it just goes on and on.
It's got Einstein's house there.
Isn't that nuts, dude? It's just like,
It's just
hear what you
crazy,
said just now. You got Einstein's house there. It's totally nuts. Yeah, what you can do with money, it's crazy. They brought London Bridge over here, so it's a thing. What kind of criteria do you use to pick a job? I mean, I know you've been kind of tooled up with Brian for a while, but I know it's got to be something that you consider when you take on like a Bush type one. You had to know that might be a little bit tricky. It's Bush in Australia. Australia is already going to bring it funky,
Yeah, that was definitely one that I thought was going to be easier than it really was, and it was something that I definitely learned a lot. Going back into the monitor world, and I went through 4 or 5 consoles during like a 3-week run.
Thermal issues, what was doing it?
The first one was the faders just wouldn't stop doing its own thing.
Yeah,
I was on a little SD9.
Yeah, good.
And then we switched out to and then we got another one, and of course, it's like, oh, this one's being spoken for the next day, so it can't go on the road with you. So SD10 came along, had that one for a couple shows, same thing. It was booked up, then got another one. But this was at the same time where Tater was told there's only one SD10 on the whole island. So he was laughing his ass off. It's like seeing all these SD10s roll by. And he was like, oh, only one, huh?
Yeah. Anyways, he's Tater, man. He's got like a direct connection with Digico. You're going to fucking bluff him on anything. Yeah, for sure. But other than that, it was always nice to go back to Australia. It's beautiful country.
I love that place.
Yeah, we got issues with that, right?
It just feels the same but different,
Yeah, well said. Definitely the same, but definitely different. They're special people all unto themselves. I noticed you've been written up for many articles. I think about you and the Beach Boys. You work with Pro Sound News, PLSN, and Sound on Sound.
Mm-hmm.
What is it like doing with the articles? These people reach out to you to pick your ear about, get into your brain about some of the stuff you do for a living?
Yeah, it's always nice, and people ask to know about your career and talk about what you've done in the past, and just see what your experience is with these certain artists. Not everyone gets to do those intimate gigs with certain artists, and like Brian Wilson, to be as close to him as I have, I consider him, like, we treat him like a grandfather. He's that special to us.
Sure.
And those types of situations where I just want younger people who are trying to get into this business, because sometimes, especially me being from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, everyone asks, like, how did you even get these jobs? And well, right place, right time, meeting the right people like who you are, like your work ethic. Never say, are we done yet? It's never done.
Until that truck closes. That you're not.
And even then, as production manager, you're still, you got to check in on the truck drivers and bus drivers, and
then you still have to wait for the merch guy.
And
the merch guy.
Always
man.
the fucking merch guy.
I threatened that merch guy with like a Penske, and I'm getting you a Penske for sure.
It's funny though, it's like back to the thing we were talking about, Mon guys versus front of house guys are different people. Merch guys, they're a special breed. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Did I tell you? I know I sent a picture in the group chat, but I tell you, our merch guy was at the AHA show with me up in Napa.
Yeah.
I thought it was fucking hilarious. Was like,
you did tell me that.
Oh, nice.
Like he rolled up on you in like Dan. Small world. And,
yeah.
You're like, Dan. I thought I got away from you. And...
No. Nothing like that. He's a great guy. I got along with him.
Did you ask him for a discount?
Yeah, right. I did.
Discount for
He's
sure.
like, no, fuck you. But it was hilarious. It was like the only thing that's missing is the bus, man. We'd be right back on it.
Yeah. No, they start to look the same.
And Kyle would be back there playing some video game for 18 hours.
You got it.
Oh, is that your jam? You're the video guy?
Well, so either I usually bring a fishing pole with me or my PS4, and this time I brought the PS4. I was like,
is that one of the personal ones?
No, it's when you take over old TV in the
What a dick. Some of us got like no game on that at all. Like, can't feel that at all. But it's a way to pass time, and I guess something, I don't know. So what you would say to young people today, and a big part of your success is networking, making relationships, bringing in and, being a good hang, like you guys are talking about, when it's kind of starting to get to that place, like if you're SE with a monitor guy or a front of house guy, where you start to predict their needs and have that kind of almost scalpel freaking kind of doctor nurse, for the lack of a better comparison. That's the sweet spot. And in your mind, because one of my next question to you is, do you have any advice for the youngsters trying to come up in the industry? Because it's not a straight line. It's not always just go to SAE or Full Sail. And I know that we've had a lot of folks that have done well in that lane, but it is limiting and certainly not some guarantee to get in the big show.
Yeah, it's one of those things too. Is how do you hang out with those people where you want to be without annoying them?
Yeah.
Where do you find yourself as being part of their group, or they remember you? If you can get into certain situations where you are doing local crew at a theater or arena, that's kind of like your way in, just getting to know the inner workings of everything. We had a new production assistant for the first time on our just recent 2-month tour, and she's never done it before. And, she turned out to be absolutely amazing. And one of my key assets to having a successful day, because it's one of those couple things with someone who doesn't have the experience to handle it. It can all go really south quickly. Well, you're at front of house, You're waiting for the band to come in or something happens,
Right.
But she's young. She never done it before. She got a call from a tour manager and, threw her into the fire, and she swam. So.
Oh, that's great.
And you can't be too scared of getting your feelings hurt. You got to have a little bit tough skin.
No, you're not. That's a really good advice. By the way, Charlie Zaricki, the Michigan Mad Motorman, wanted to correct us and let us know that is Edison's workshop. So that, regardless.
Oh, sorry, Edison's. I did say, yeah.
Oh, no,
we got close. There was an E in there.
Yeah, but Charlie would know. He's a Michigan native and a knower of all facts. Thank you, sir.
We're just doing that to see if you're paying attention.
Right. I wanted to know if he was still watching. You know, it's a lot to ask.
Yeah.
Favorite moment so far working in the industry? You know, when you look back on your career, you've done a lot of things. You've worked with some really talented, amazing people. I'm sure you've seen some crazy shit along the way. It can be any kind of like feeling that whatever jumps to your head first. Favorite moment in the industry, my friend?
Brian Wilson singing Monster Mash in middle of summer in Spain.
That is kind of cool, dude.
That's
He didn't, who's saying that? So he just broke into Monster Mash. He did the mash. Do you know the Monster Mash?
Yeah.
Do you know the song?
The whole, yeah.
The Grave Roger. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's it. Exactly. Perfect.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd
There's definitely, I have some board tapes of all those shows, and there's some moments where I just need to compile all of the things that he's said to the audiences over the years. And it's mind blowing. You can't write this stuff. He's just Brian Wilson. He comes up with this all on his own and just blows you away every time. You know, we were in Iceland, and he was still walking really well at this time. And he basically went past our stage manager, big dude. He kind of went past him, and I wasn't even at front of house yet. So he basically went out 5 minutes early before we were supposed to, got on his piano, started playing. And I'm like going through this continental seating to get through all these people, you know, and my system engineer, he was trying to like find all like the buttons to turn on, because it was like all happening right now, and he's already starting to play. The band's almost looking to just to count it off, and I get there in time and just open up everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And about 1 minute later after that, he's like, whoa, stop. It's like, would Jerry Weiss please come to the stage with heartburn medicine? And he basically comes out about 30 seconds after with some Tums, and he basically gives them to Brian. Brian chews them on microphone, so you can hear him chewing everything. You know, I'm going to pull it back on the fader, you know, but it's kind of comical.
Yeah.
And he just goes, if you've ever had heartburn, it's the worst. All right, count it off, Mikey. You know,
Right back in. That's a real moment.
Yeah, right back into it.
But this is a man that
you don't do that with click track.
No, definitely not. No, he's always been authentic. You know, you give him that. And again, this is, I remember in the 90s, he'd come through. They do these crazy shows too. Like they did one at La Laguna Seca in the 80s, late 80s. They must have had 200,000 people at it. I mean,
wow.
It's like a whole weekend with the Beach Boys at this giant, speaking of racetrack, you know, it was phenomenal. And in that time, they were really smoking. You know, they had all the brothers. Everybody was in the mix. It was an extraordinary band.
Yeah.
And their contribution to rock and roll is singular. You know? You're kind of in the catbird seat there, brother. I hope that pans out and keeps going well for you and him and all of us, because we're the beneficiaries of it.
Never take it for granted.
Yeah, right. I mean, right. That's kind of a special thing you could get into. What do you know? What's next for you, brother? What's on your schedule? How's it looking for going forward?
Oh, hold on, Clint.
There's some things in the work. Yeah.
Charlie said Clint works with Chris Stuba, another Dearborn, Michigan guy, and I know you love Stuba with like all your heart. You gotta say something about Stuba.
Yeah, he's been front of house lighting director for Brian Wilson since the 2012. That's when I met him, and for some reason, him and I just clicked. You know, it's just one of those relationships on the road where you got your buddy, man. And then over the pandemic, you know, we would talk every couple days, and, you know, just keep it tight. And it's just certain people that you can have those conversations with and just really rely on, especially team front of house. You know, we had such a blast out there. But he left Brian, I guess a little while ago to go work with Alice Cooper. So we're super proud of him to land that gig, because Alice Cooper, you know, who doesn't want to work with him? I've worked with him a couple times on some one-offs and some benefit shows, and that guy, he is definition of cool.
Yeah, he goes to. We had I think Greg Price before he took Metallica was out there with him. And when he took Metallica, Brad Maddox went in, you know, legendary Brad Maddox, And so,
Yep.
Alice Cooper has always had the ability, even at this late stage in his career, to kind of pick and choose between the badasses in the game, and to be able
now
to
he's
say,
got his SE doing front of houses. I heard it's going great, like amazing mix.
that's fantastic. I love it when they lift people up through the crew, instead of reaching out if you don't have
and
to.
that was one of the things that I told Kyle. Yeah. That was one of the things I told Kyle when we first started working on it. I was like, hey, man, get to know as much of this stuff because I might just disappear one day or get some illness and I'm not there and you're my guy. So you got to know exactly
Absolutely
what's going on here. And, I'm not too protective of my gig,
Yeah.
Some people will be like, absolutely not. You can't know anything about what I do,
That actually is the old way. The old way, especially at front of house, we were real particular about our special sauce. I saw that.
You want my file?
Yeah,
Hell no, you're not getting my file.
Yeah. People
How
would
much you paying for
initialize their
that file?
boards or reset their outboard. Just weird shit. Like it was a real thing. You're standing too close, they kind of nudge you off. That was a thing back in the day.
And those types of things in those situations, I always feel like if I don't have somebody who knows what's going on, I feel like I'm not doing my job covering Brian or whoever I'm working for to know that someone can step into your shoes and still make the show happen.
Yeah, you have a certain responsibility to have.
Over the last little while, it's happened to us all.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong, and it's you've personally covered for many folks. They had to split away, and you've had to help advance your career. And I know that this guy is so would go to that way. There's almost nothing there's nothing I can think of that we put you on that you ever say no, some technical limitations. So the kid's ready, man.
Menthol cigarettes.
I
haven't swapped over yet, dude. That's a whole other level.
Yeah, no. I think those are illegal in California now or some shit. Like they don't let you have the menthols anymore.
Those.
They're too. I don't know something. They're dangerous.
When I go visit you next in Vegas, I'll go make sure I buy some menthols.
Yeah. Hey, what's up to deal with Vegas? By the way, that place is basically a broiler. What's your plan there, man? You think your long-term situation that's going to play out right? You got serious water issues, and it's only getting hotter.
That's why I'm right here.
Up at the top of the planet. That's actually people are moving north, man, and you couldn't be much north.
Yeah, north. We have a lot of water here.
Yeah.
A lot of water here, and it's it's 72 degrees right now. So Vegas, it's just Satan's balls.
Yeah, that place is nuts.
Perfect beaver breeding temperature, huh?
I'm sorry, what?
Is that 71 in Saskatchewan?
Oh, they're down there like damming up your shit.
Yeah, Oh man, I don't like beavers.
They're industrious.
I have a bunch of property here, and oh man, they ruined some nice trees. 40-foot trees, and they're like, where did that tree go?
Dude, there's actually some science behind.
It's over there and this huge lodge. Yeah.
There's some science behind what beavers do. Beavers, it turns out, I shouldn't get into much of this. You should look this up yourselves. Beavers are responsible for the landscape as it lies, as you get to know it after they've re-engineered it. And then all this different wildlife lives off of their little dams and the little things they create. They're just super destructive on the process of getting there.
They're also dicks, though.
Yeah, they're
just dicks.
Dude, they cut down trees with their face for a living. I mean,
Hey, maybe this is something other sound engineers can work on. I know they hear a certain frequency, and I was trying to come up with some sort of a device to annoy them within their range.
You want to hit them like an IMRAD, like
silently, move them along.
That's actually. Let's throw that one over to Bernie Broderick if you can figure that out. But no, they do use sound as a weapon nowadays. It's called the IMRAD system, and it's frequently deployed as a non-lethal measure, and apparently it sucks. Like getting in front of those waves is something awful. Like you feel like your whole world's coming to an end. It's freaking horrible. So it's crazy, man. Listen, man, it was.
Or else they have the microwave one too.
Oh, dude, that's one where they heat you up. No, it's okay. Yeah, we try.
And it's from the inside out.
Yeah, no, it's exactly what you just said. No,
hey, if you got a pirate coming towards your boat, I want one of those, but I'd still take something that blows up.
No, you're not wrong. The water cannons seem to go in too light, but maybe the cooking them from the inside's going too hard. So I don't know. Maybe just blast them with some really friggin' serious sonic hate, just like serious sonic evil, and that'll throw
Fetal
them off.
position stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it seems to be like what they're doing over off of the Somalia coast, to deal with the pirating issue. It's the only thing that those big.
Yeah, I
ships
did a
can
little
do.
stint on a cruise ship. I don't have that on my resume, but I did about 2.5 years on a cruise ship, and it was
2.5 years.
definitely one of the fun. Yeah,
Wow.
with maybe 4 weeks off in between, but yeah, it was a lot of fun actually.
You never got
Princess
sick,
Cruises,
the kind of the legend of
the norovirus.
and Legionnaires and all the things that have plagued the cruise ship industry. For 2.5 years, you were good. You did your thing. You ate. You went and played and had fun. It was good. It was a good experience.
Oh yeah,
That's crazy cool.
Yeah, it was. And you know what? Technically, the theaters that they have are really amazing. Stages that move and up and down, lifts, pits, state of the art lighting, sound, surround sound. They're using PV Media Matrix.
Well, there's a lot of money in that industry, and it doesn't surprise me one bit as technology in its ever moving forward course has spread to the cruise ship industry. And you're one of the first people to kind of say in a positive light that was a great experience or a good experience. We got the metal cruises that go out, and a lot of our friends do these different things. I personally haven't. I have no personal first-hand experience with a cruise or anything that's more than water in my bathtub. So that's good news. I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed that. We really appreciate you coming on the show.
I guess it's like most things, though. You have to I was gonna say, it's like most things. You have to just go into it with a positive head.
Exactly.
Oh, you couldn't be more right. Back to the advice for the kids coming into it. But I think that's just life advice, and something that you get your hand around as you tick off time on the calendar. So, no, and it sounds like you've done that time and time again. You've worked with a lot of amazing acts and put your mark in rock and roll. We're looking forward to seeing you out there again sometime really soon with some cool stuff. Hopefully we'll bring a big-ass rig to you, and you can make it sound all pretty for us.
Yes, Adamson, please.
Yeah,
I like this guy, man.
I know, I'm a kind of an Adam Systems guy myself. Yeah.
Oh man.
Reach out to Jeremiah Kearney. We do roll with Adamson out of our San Diego house, and it's one of the favorite touring rigs. Yeah, that son of a bitch, man. That's some sweet stuff. But nowadays there's so many good rigs. There's really a lot to work with. It's an embarrassment of riches between K1, 2, at Panther. I haven't heard 3. Anybody heard 3 yet? K3.
Didn't what was the venue that had a little bit of 3 thrown up somewhere?
Yeah, I haven't. That's when I'm.
Was it some outfills or something?
Yeah, the delays. What was that? The theater setup with all the playwrights that looked like a castle.
Oh, it was at the in Kansas. Was it in Kansas?
I'll look it up. I can't remember now. Looks like a castle.
Starlight Theater, I think it was.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
It was our great pleasure to have you on this evening, Clint. Thank you so much, my friend. We wish you continued luck and success in the game. It was an absolute treat. Thank you for coming on, sharing your experiences and your memories with us. It was a treat, my friend. Take good care of yourself.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it, you guys.
All right, pal. Have a great night. Enjoy that.
All right.
North America's greatness. Oh, God, that was really nice. Thank you for Clint coming on. Thank you for getting him for us. That was You did good, buddy. I really appreciate it.
Oh,
it was lovely having Clint on.
They couldn't have not had him come on, man.
No, you're not wrong. Next week we were lucky enough. We reached out to Jim Runge multiple times. He is literally one of the most busy tour managers that I can think of. I can't think of a guy that stays busy and jumps from show to show, from tour to tour to tour. He's just the go-to guy for Wilco, for Imagine Dragons. The list is really too long to go into. We've been trying to get him on a couple times. We had to delay his show. He's coming on next week. It should be a good time. He's going to have a lot of stories. He knows where a lot of bodies have been buried. He's a tour manager, deals directly with the acts, and he gets up to it. He's a sweetheart of a guy. We're looking forward to it. Come back and see us next Thursday at 7 p.m. We appreciate you coming out here. I want to thank my crew. Kyle Thomas, it was great to have you back. Micah Brown, thank you for doing what you do. Condolences to our good friend. We got a guy shadowing for us, Zachy. Watkins, who's a sweetheart of a guy. He had to take some time out because he lost his father. So, Zachy, all the best to you, my brother.
Yeah, blessings, Bubba.
We're super with you, baby. If there's anything you can do, reach out. And a little shout out to the girl of my dreams. Hi, Jackie, honey. I love you, baby. I'll see you tomorrow night. Until then, we would do this every week. We do it for you. Be good, behave. You know what the hell to do. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Oh, did he leave? Fucking love that dude. Oh, he just got out of No.
Oh, did he? Usually I say if you want to stay after
It's okay.
but I try to handle it on the top end. When we're going out.
Wow.
Look at what the time says. It's almost like we meant to.
Dude,
8 o'clock exactly.